Today on the channel, we're back at it with another year-end best of list, and today we're counting down my top 5 NECA figures of 2025.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Best of 2025 countdown. In today's video, we're counting down my top 5 favorite NECA figures of 2025. Now, NECA, a very up and down year, I would say. I don't know, you guys tell me if you agree with that or not. We had some new great properties that came apart. We had some fall by the wayside. Looking at you, Gargoyles, officially done apparently. But it did feel like this year was a bit of a transition year for NECA as a whole, as we saw a lot of Walmarts and Targets overstock the last really 2 years, and I think it really affected some of the business this year, and I think it affected the lack of new items to Target and Walmart. We didn't get the overabundance as we had in years past, and we saw NECA themselves selling mystery boxes again this year at a pretty big, large amount. We also saw overflow NECA stuff appearing at the TJ Maxx's, Burlingtons of the world, and so forth. So Ross, of course, RossCon, never forget. So we saw some discount on NECA stuff, which usually we didn't see too often. So I think this year was a bit of a slowdown for NECA. Not as many releases, but some extremely strong figures still released, and we're going to count down this year. We're going to do it like we do all the other countdowns on the channel. We're going to start at number 5, work our way to number 1. Number 1 being my absolute favorite NECA figure of 2025. And as I always do say, this is my list, so it's what I enjoy, what I like, what I collect. So it's my list. Put your list in the comments down below. And every year I have to put this asterisk out there. No Ninja Turtles in this list. And it was a slow year for Ninja Turtles from NECA as well, I really felt like. But I usually do a top 5 and occasionally top 10 year-end best of turtle countdown separately. So I leave the turtles off this NECA list. So a little asterisk there. But do your list how you want to do your list. It's your list after all. But we're going to kick off the list at number 5. We begin the countdown at number 5. Just like I said, I'm a man of my word. But number 5, we go to the NECA Ultimate line. We go to a line that is very near and dear to my heart. It is the Universal Monsters line. And we got a little bit of a sleeper one that we saw for the first time at San Diego Comic-Con this year. It is the Mask of the Red Death Phantom of the Opera edition. And as I'm filming this right now, I've had this on Patreon for like 6 months or 6 weeks, something like that. What is time once again? But I haven't put this out on traditional YouTube. So maybe I'll get that before this video, maybe after. Who knows? That's what it pays to be a Patreon member. But I am not the biggest Phantom of the Opera movie fan. And we were celebrating the 100th anniversary of Phantom of the Opera just this year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or it's 101. What is time once again? But this is a very cool figure. A figure so nice, I had to buy it twice so I could display some of the different looks. Now, I will say, a little old school NECA quality control diving into this one, as one of his feet did break right out of the packaging for me on my second one, of course. Gotta love that. But besides that, looking to the side of that, this was still a very fun figure. I like the different looks, and it's a version of the Phantom we really never see in action figure form. And I always wonder, and I think a year ago I was wondering the same thing, where are we at with Universal Monsters? Are we done from NECA? Will there be any more? I don't know. I would love to get my dad back on the channel for these. He did not sit in on this one, unfortunately, but we'll see where Universal Monsters go in 2026 for NECA. But coming in at number 5 is our friend, the Phantom of the Opera Mask of the Red Death Edition. We keep the monster theme going into number 4, and I talked about some lines leaving like the Gargoyles, but some lines entering like Sesame Street of all things. Coming in at number 4 for me, Count Von Count, oh, the most deadly vampire of all time, as he tricks kids into learning to count. A dangerous vampire if there ever was one. Now, I've said this ad nauseum in these unboxings that I was not a Sesame Street kid. I didn't make my kids become Sesame Street kids. It was just too much for little Kyle. I couldn't handle the Sesame Street. The streets were too dangerous for me, Todd. Before I didn't want any part of it. I was more of the, the G.I. Joe Transformers variety instead of the Sesame Street. Maybe that says stuff about me in my later age. I don't know. But it is undeniable you know all these characters via pop culture, and I think NECA did an absolute tremendous job bringing these to life in action figure form for the adult collectors. Now, it's weird that I didn't like Sesame Street. I couldn't stand watching it, but man, these figures are awesome, and I like to look at them on my shelf. It's a weird thing. I don't know if I guess it's just pop culture nostalgia mixed in one, and you could be nostalgic about something without watching it, if that makes any sense. I don't know. But I love this Count figure. I'm very excited to see where the Sesame Street line goes. We've seen a lot of stuff coming around the corner. We know Big Bird's around the corner. That's going to be a big deluxe one. I would anticipate that to be in this countdown next year. But a very, very fun line. Like I said, I don't know a ton about Sesame Street. I never watched the episodes, but iconic is iconic. And this Count, for me, very iconic. Coming in, number 4. We've hit the halfway point. We're at the number 3 spot. And as usual, you got your list together, put it in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to this very YouTube channel as we're counting down the best of action figures in plenty of videos as we close out 2025 all the way into the beginning of 2026. But here we are at the number 3 selection, and this is an interesting one. It's, like I said, we've done a lot of videos count down the best and worst figures of 2025. And one of the favorite countdown videos to a lot of people is the Peg Warmers of the Year list. Now, one thing that's crazy is just because something is a peg warmer doesn't automatically make it a bad figure. It doesn't say it's just hot garbage. It's just a peg warmer for whatever reason, overproduced, or there's not enough people interested in the property, whatever it may be. Doesn't mean it's a bad figure, and no instance better than this one here at number 3. Once again, we go to NECA, of course. Universal Monsters, Ardeth Bay, aka the Mummy line. NECA killing it with the Universal Monsters. A deep cut, a deeper cut, whatever you want to call it. But a figure so nice, I bought it thrice. Yes, 3 of these I picked up. Saw these all the way down to clearance at $8 in certain Walmarts. A hard fall here for old Ardeth Bay, but I think that speaks to a lot of, this is a long time ago. This is a generation or 2 before I was even born is when this movie came out. And a lot of that generation that maybe was just absolutely in love with this movie aren't buying a lot of action figures. My dad is definitely not the norm of his age bracket picking up things like this. And is there a lot of kids out there? Is there a lot of people my age and below that are into this kind of stuff? Unfortunately, they're few and far between, and I think that's more of the reason this didn't really take off and sell so well. But I am very happy to have this in the collection. The different heads, the different looks. It's really a 3-in-1 figure. Heck, you could even make it a 4-in-1 if you really wanted to stretch it. 5-in-1, yep, if you're a min-on card collector. Of course, top and farther from the couch. But a fabulous figure, an underrated figure, but also a peg-warming figure. Coming in at number 3, it is Ardeth Bay. The number 2 selection could be the hardest to find, most wanted NECA figure of 2025. There was a lot of madness around this one. People trying to find the alternate version at Walmart's on the end caps, and there's people trying to find the regular ones. I would still say a lot of people won't have this in their hands till 2026, as I don't think we've seen the full rollout on this figure quite yet. Who is it? Where is it? Well, it is Art the Clown Ultimate Edition from NECA. And I'm cheating a little bit here. I'm putting the regular and bloody edition here at number 2. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I guess probably the regular edition, but a smart move on NECA. Capitalize on the popularity of the Terrifier franchise. As, let's be honest, Art the Clown is almost to the level of the Michael Myers, Freddy the Kruegers, Jason Voorhees. Dare I say Chucky? Dare we say Chucky? He's a modern day killer, and we don't get a lot of modern day people that stepped out from the 70s and 80s or even back to the Universal Monster days that have transcended into pop culture. And Art the Clown is there right now. Can he sustain? I guess we'll see next year. I believe Terrifier 4 coming out next Halloween, Christmas, something like that. But this is an amazing figure, very cool figure. Figure so nice I bought it twice in the bloody version and the regular version. Definitely a lot of Art the Clown fans. I gotta imagine he's in a lot of top 5 lists here as we close out 2025, but that means there can only be one. What is my favorite NECA figure of 2025? Well, stay tuned. Here we are, we're at the number 1 spot, my number 1 NECA figure of 2025. Once again, get your list together, put it in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and my other YouTube channel, as we got videos every single day on both channels, and we're counting down a ton of figures for the best of and worst of 2025 videos. But here we are at number 1. And number 1, there's a little bit of a gripe with this one, but all in all, an amazing figure. A figure so nice, I bought it thrice once again. You guys know one thing I absolutely love in my action figures, and one of the top things up there is a hairy bipedal creature. And once again, we get a hairy bipedal creature from NECA. We're seeing a little deja vu from prior year countdown videos. The number 1 figure for me, it is the Howling Werewolf. Now, my big gripe, he doesn't stand the best. That's why he's got this stand. But a hairy bipedal creature, a werewolf, you know you can count me in. Now, Howling might not be my favorite of the Howling franchise movies. I like the ones, you know which one I like. I talked about it in this video. Go back and check that one out. Christopher Lee might have been in it. Sybil Danning might have been in it. Check out that one. My Sister's a Werewolf. I'm giving too many hints. That's my favorite Howling movie. But this is amazing for what it is. And the Howling one is definitely worth a watch if you've never seen it. It's an amazing movie, just not quite as good as the other one. That's my personal opinion. But I love a werewolf in my collection, and this is one that could cross over into G.I. Joe. You could have him squaring off against your Operation Monster Force figures, other NECA figures. Heck, bring him into the wrestling ring. They used to wrestle bears once upon a time. Why can't they wrestle a werewolf? Choose your own adventure. But I love a hairy bipedal creature, and this one really stands out. And I love the different heads that we got with this one to build your pack of werewolves. A lot of fun, and that's why the Howling Werewolf comes in at number 1 in my 2025 NECA Ultimate Countdown. But that's where I ask you one last time, what's your countdown look like? Put it in the comments down below. Subscribe to my channels. Check out Patreon, YouTube for even more content. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which is the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show. Check it out wherever podcasts are found with videocast on YouTube. So for the Howling Werewolf, I'm Kyle, and the rest of the NECA top 5. Of course, we got to clue them in too, but Howling most importantly at number 1. I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
I'm solid gold.